storyline tomorrow night is Bo's return. You're wearing the C. You replaced him as the captain. What do you expect just in terms of the reaction and the fans as he comes back to town?
I think the reaction should be, really good. I think people should welcome him and celebrate him on his return. And he put in 9 really good years here, and he was always solid, never complained, was a great leader, just put in his work, and someone that everyone can kind of go to if they needed to talk to someone. It wasn't always the easiest years, and he always, stepped right in front of it. So, he should be welcomed, celebrated, and then, after all that, we hopefully can get 2 points.
Do you have a new appreciation of wearing the C after seeing what he went through and what you face with us on a daily basis?
Yeah, I have a great appreciation for it. As just a teammate, you see it every day with him and how he was out in front of it. Like I said, it's easy when we're 11-3-1, but it's tough when we're losing those years. And so he did a good job. But in saying all that, getting a win tomorrow is more important.
Quinn, what do you attribute the reset with you guys? You're so good at, if you have an off period, resetting, so maybe a loss doesn't turn into 3 losses.
I think just our maturity level and knowing what makes us successful, and I think we got a lot of hungry guys that, aren't going to accept losing right now.
Quinn, have you ever had as much coaching during practices and game day skates as you have under Rick and Adam and the coaching staff? Because every day I'm watching teachable moments out there. Can you just break that down for me?
Yeah, they're a massive part of our success, obviously, turning this thing around in less than a year, and I think they're just every detail in the game is so dialed in, and we're not a loose group anymore. We're have responsibilities, and everyone knows what's required of them. And like you said, they're always teaching us, so we're always getting better. And I think guys have elevated their game, with them here. And then I think that just the relationship they have with the players, and obviously they're teaching us a lot. But I think they're for at least footy, he coaches how he'd want his kids to be coached. And I think he can get the best out of guys.
With the finer points, JT was talking about, what the wingers learning how to pick up pucks off the wall. I watch Adam work with you guys a lot on angling. It's other stuff aside from systems, stuff that we maybe don't see as fans, but makes a difference for you when it comes game time.
Yeah, like when I say details of the game, I don't always mean X's and O's. I mean like things like that, little details that guys are, improving in, and helps everyone.
Quinn, the league governors met today, and one of the things they talked about was looking at ways to reduce sort of the regroup and the reset in overtime. And you're a guy, obviously, that sees a ton of, overtime when it was brought in was frantic. It was back and forth, trading chances. We've seen strategy sort of roll into it. What do you make of the way that overtime is these days? And do you like the idea of being able to reset and sort of try to find your play?
Yeah, I love 3-on-3 overtime. It's one of the most exciting things in the game. The players love it. The fans, I think it's really enjoyable for them. There's nothing worse than, when teams have the puck the whole time in 3-on-3 and they just take it back and they're not really getting any chances. I think we had, one game like that in Carolina 2 years ago, but it doesn't happen too much, and we've only had 1 3-on-3 game so far this year, so.
Maybe you can just start with the injured defenseman, Susie Myers, and maybe an update on Brisebois if there is. And we haven't seen or heard from him in a long time.
Yeah, Briz has been skating on and off, so he's still dealing with some issues. Seuss is going to get another evaluated today, but it'll be more week to week with Seuss. And then we just precautionary with Mizey. I think he'll be fine, but it's just precautionary. So he looks good for tomorrow, but we'll see how he skates tomorrow.
Susie, got hurt there in that final preseason game, and you thought then maybe it was week to week. He was a quick healer. Can he be a quick healer again?
Yeah, we'll see what the tests are, but it kind of sucks because I thought his game, the last 3-4 games, him and Mizey have been coming together as a really good pair for us. So it sucks, but 82 games are going to get injuries, and we've been fortunate on the injury bug some parts of our lineup, but that's where the depth's got to come. That's where Abbotsford comes into play, where you're going to need some depth to fill in holes.
You got a couple options in Abbotsford. You go with Rose. What's the reasoning behind that?
Well, actually, it was between him and Willanen. I think Willanen tweaked something, so but it was like a 50-50. For me, Hiros's got a really good hockey, like a great outstanding hockey IQ. So he's played some games. He's played double-digit games that he's played with us. So he knows the system, and we're not scared to play him.
Outside of video, your exposure to Bo was brief when you came here.
Bo
Horvat?
Oh yeah, sorry.
Sorry, we just.
I got two
You got
goals.
Beauvillier too. So
I got both
should have clarified
Besser
that.
and
What you come to appreciate even when you're scouting and doing pre-scouts and Jake?
just just a two-way guy. Obviously outstanding power play, the bumper. That was the one thing when I took the job. I was kind of salivating, going, man. It's hard to find excellent bumpers, and he's that category of upper echelon bumpers. And his overall game. Scores a lot of goals around the net, a lot of tips. Those are playoff type of goals.
There's a lot of pressure when you come back in a trade like that. Beauvillier's had his looks of late. What do you make of his play?
I think he's around the puck. I liked his game last before he was on the puck. If he can get on the forward check and strip pucks, and the goals will come. But he's got to play inside, and I think he's been doing that lately, and that's why he's getting the looks. He tends to, when he gets in trouble, is he's on the outside, and he's not using his body position. And I feel the last 4 games he's using his body to shield pucks, and it's working for him. So now the next step is hopefully they'll go in for him.
You've always said there's never enough practice time. How much of the reset that you guys are able to do in games, Rick, even if it's one period you reset, how much of that is attributed to what you do on the ice on a regular basis?
Yeah, we're not going to have the last 2 weeks and the next couple of weeks. We're not going to have a lot of practice time, and the importance of practice. If you look at a regular game, some guys probably touch puck overall the whole game, maybe 30 seconds. Some guys maybe a minute. Some guys a minute and a half, and that's why if we had a short practice today. Guys, long trip, 5-hour flight, a lot of things. So it was a 25-minute practice. Value that 25 minutes. With a lot of guys were doing some touches after and before practice. I liked seeing that because it's hard to. Every team goes through it. I talked to a couple of coaches on the road, and I think one coach told me they had one practice in 2 weeks. So everybody gets that chunk of the season. So that's where you really got to rely on video, or even today. We didn't do no video today. I thought we've crammed a lot of stuff the last week. So just let them get in here and get out.
What did you tell Nils when you took him out of the lineup?
Well, I've just there's about 3 or 4 guys that are going to be fighting for that spot. I'm not going to have him sitting on the shelf much. But he's also, I love Nils, but he's got to be reliable. The Toronto goal was a big goal that, he made 2 big mistakes for us on that goal, and he had, I like the other end, but he's got to make sure that we can rely him in the defensive end, and that's what it's going to come down to. Some guys game to game. Unfortunately, we got some healthy guys. We got some guys in Abbotsford are knocking for those positions too, and that's a good thing.
Rick, it seems like every moment out there's a teachable moment. I've been really impressed watching your staff. Last year, I know it was working on systems and training camp, but it seems every practice, every pregame skate, you're working with somebody, Adam's working with somebody, the Twins are working with somebody, Yogi's working with somebody. How valuable has that been to your success, and also having their knowledge to pass on the little things? Because I've been watching with body positioning, pucks on the wall. Can you just talk about that?
Yeah, I think that you got to touch a player every day. It can't just always be me or Footy or the Twins. I think, and what we do is we make sure, we have a meeting in the morning. Who's got this guy? Who's got that guy? What do we have to do? Today for me was Lafferty because poor guy. I got him in center sometimes. I got him in wing, and I felt that he needed some tips on taking some rims on some body position. Poor guy, but he's a hybrid, right? And I told him that's why he's valuable to our team. He can play center or wing, and he can play left wing if he has to. So, just wanted to do some board stuff with him, and then Huggy was asking for. He had a couple of times where he's going down the weak side with the puck, and he felt that he could get better shots off. So, you saw him after practice working on that. So, that's a coach's dream when you get guys who are self-starters.
The margin for error is so slim at this level, especially with the game being so quick. But if they can pick up something here, it can make the difference between winning and losing, and also scoring a goal and defending one.
Yeah, the game's a half a second, right? And when we're on our game, or even a player knows it, if you're half a second, it doesn't seem like much, but it's huge in hockey. That half second, and you can practice that half second, and that's anticipation. I think if a guy like Dakota Joshua, where I feel his half second's been quicker the last bunch of games. Earlier on, it wasn't, and that half second to him is an eternity. He has to. If he doesn't have that half second, he looks slow. But when he does, in front of the net or coming out of the corners with pucks, and he's been practicing at it, and that pays off. So that's just one example.
You reach him on a different level too. I think he had 20 hits in a 4-game span there. You talked about competition for jobs. Yet there's a perfect example of a guy you needed to reach, and he responds even in a physical way.
Well, I mean, listen, I love the kid, and he knows we need, in a Canucks jersey, we need some big bodies that can play that game. We don't. You got Giuseppe who plays that game. We need him to play that game for us, and I think that he's taken that to heart the last 3-4 games. There's a need for that. Why not knock the door down and be one of those guys?
There's been an arrest in the Adam Johnson case in England. I'm curious to hear your thoughts about it, because it's only happened 3 times.
I didn't watch it. I can't watch it, to be honest with you, so it's hard for me to comment. I mean, it's such a tragedy. I mean, I don't know how that's going to play out, but I couldn't watch it. I apologize, but I couldn't watch it. Yeah.
Rick, governors met this morning, and one of the things they talked about was possible changes to overtime.
Yeah.
This idea of regrouping.
Right.
You've seen the evolution of overtime from an all-out sprint back and forth to now it is sort of puck possession. Does it need to be changed? Is it something the league should look at, or?
It's funny. Me and Patrick had dinner last week, and he told me they were going to. My feelings was I think they had general managers meetings before that to discuss it. I think you got to be careful. What are you going to do now? You can't go over center. I think it's just you got to be careful. I don't know how they're going to change it, but I don't know. I watched 3-on-3. I see McKinnon, and I see Draisaitl and McDavid still get their looks. We get our looks. Look at Kuzi against the Rangers. He got his looks. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure what you can do. Maybe if you regroup it twice, you blow the whistle. I don't know. That's what they were talking about. But that's a judgment call on the refs, and then you get in all those different decisions. But I think you leave it alone for now. I don't know if we should tinker with it. Me personally.
So Pettersson celebrated his 25th birthday on the weekend at the top of the NHL scoring race. Nice present for him. It's kind of a big hockey milestone. Is that maturity that he's at now at 25, do you think, part of his success this season?
Oh, yeah, for sure. He's a lot more engaged. We had a line meeting with our line today. He's just so engaging now. Like, he knows, he almost took over the meeting. Like, maybe last year. I wasn't here much. I was only there 30 games of last year. I don't know in the past. I actually talked to Travis Green. He was a very quiet guy, but definitely a guy that he'll take over a meeting with that line, which I love to see. I actually told him, you should run the meeting sometimes because you have that credibility. Plus, if you see something, go for it. And I think that's maturity. Being 25, I think he wants that leadership role.
When you were coaching in Arizona and were having to match up against him when he was on his hot rookie streak, what did you see from him then, and sort of how has his game evolved?
Well, we had a guy swing with him in the neutral zone every time. So we did what we did against McDavid. Like, you got to take his time and space away. I don't even know why I'm telling you that. I don't want the other coaches to hear this stuff. No, but he's just, listen, there's no secret. He's just a guy that you got to know where he's on the ice. And when he does have the puck, I'll tell you what, I'd be going to the net every time because he'll find you going to the net.
You hit game 50 with the Canucks on the road trip.
Oh, really?
Obviously, it's a long run away. You got a lot of work to do, but what are you happy about with your team and the way they're playing after game 50?
I keep saying the buy-in, and there's buy-in. I just think that the guys have embraced what we're trying to do. We got a long way to go, like you said. Just the communication with the group is, I think it's outstanding. And if there's a problem, we deal with it. And they're not afraid to hear it. Vice versa with the coaching staff. So I think that's the most thing I'm proud of is both sides could be really communicative and not afraid to say something to that group. I think that's a big thing for winning. If you're not scared to say something, it's sometimes it's uncomfortable, and they embrace that.